Jacksonville Jaguars fans, welcome into Duval Daily, presented by GenJag.com. I'm Jordan DeLugo. Thank you so much for tuning in here. Tuesday, June 17th, second video of the day for y'all. So earlier we talked about the Jaguars target share, my expected target share for the different Jaguars receivers and offensive weapons this year. So I thought that was pretty fun to kind of take a dive into how things could look based on what Liam Cohen has done in the past, based on the current receivers and offensive weapons the Jaguars have, all that good stuff. So I encourage y'all to go check that one out. But right now we're taking a look at another PFF list, another PFF rankings list by Trevor Sikkema, who does a great job covering the NFL and the NFL draft for PFF. But I have to say, this list, this rankings, NFL receiving core rankings, I find pretty egregious. I'm not going to lie to you. I really do. Now, there's some teams at the top that I absolutely agree with. I think they should be there. Philadelphia Eagles, at 1. I think A.J. Brown is a top 3 receiver in the NFL without question. Obviously, you have Devontae Smith complimenting him. You also include Saquon Barkley as a receiving target, Dallas Goedert, Jahan Dotson. Yes, I understand. The Buccaneers, yes, their receiving core goes crazy. Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Jalen McMillan, Emeka Egbuka added in the draft. Rashad White, a good receiver out of the backfield. Yeah, I get it. The Bengals, yes, we all know about what they've got. The Lions, we all know about the talent that they have. 49ers, I think you're starting to get into a range where you can make arguments about the Jaguars receiving core. But, Brandon Ayuk, George Kittle, some of the other guys that they have, Christian McCaffrey is a receiver out of the backfield. Ricky Pearsall played well down the stretch. Obviously, the Vikings, I think they should actually be higher just by the fact that they have Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison. You add in TJ Hawkinson as well. The Dolphins have Hill and Waddle. Yes, I get that. And Nakua with Adams now in Los Angeles. Yes, obviously very talented receiving room. The Bears at 9 with DJ Moore, Romo Dunze, Cole Kmet. Add in Colson Loveland and Luther Burden if Luther Burden's able to get healthy. So, yeah, I think each one of those groups, I think you can make the argument against or for them being higher than the Jaguars. I honestly think after that, there is not a group I would take over the Jags. Brian Thomas Jr., Jaguars' number 1 receiver. How many receivers in the NFL right now, regardless of contract, not talking about the salary cap, anything like that, just like on the field, how many receivers would you take over Brian Thomas Jr. if you had to go play a game tomorrow? How long is that list? Honestly. He's probably pushing top 5. And I know he hasn't proven it for as long as some of the veterans, all that stuff. But if you had to go play a game tomorrow, your offensive coach, who do you want to scheme it up for? The guy who's 6'3", 210 pounds, runs a 4.3 40, really good release package, really strong hands in terms of his overall contested catch rate and solid drop rate, can run every route, can play outside, can play inside, take the top off the defense, get the job done with the ball in his hands. So the Jaguars, they come in at 16 on this list by Trevor Sikkema, who again, does a great job. And PFF, I'll give them credit. They're giving us a lot of rankings to look at this offseason in the dead period between end of minicamp and obviously the start of training camp. Here's what Trevor Sikkema has to say. He says this might seem a bit high for Jacksonville at 16. I don't think it seems a bit high. I think it seems a bit low. But it's a bet on Brian Thomas Jr. and Travis Hunter in a similar way to how one could view the Bengals with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. Thomas's 83.4 PFF receiving grade as a rookie was a top 20 mark in the NFL, and his 1,282 receiving yards were third most behind only Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase. Hunter likely won't rack up as much yardage as BTJ did as a rookie, but he could very well become an elite receiver for Trevor Lawrence after posting 85.8, 79.0, and 89.0 PFF receiving grades in 3 college seasons. The Jaguars don't have much depth at receiver or tight end, but Travis Etienne has been fine as a receiver for his 3 seasons. So, not even mentioning Deami Brown, I think, is amiss. I get that the Jaguars are viewing Deami Brown maybe in a different light than the rest of the league does, but his skill set, I think, is undeniable. College pedigree and production, what he did in the playoffs last year, what he did in the regular season, I think projects really well to the Liam Cohen offense. But even if you just gloss over everything else, besides Brian Thomas Jr. and Travis Hunter, the Jaguars should be higher on this list. There is no way on earth I would take CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens over Brian Thomas Jr. and Travis Hunter. No chance. Absolutely no chance. Cowboys are at 15. Look at number 14, Kansas City Chiefs. What? Rashee Rice, Xavier Worthy, Hollywood Brown, Travis Kelce in the very end of the twilight of his career? No. There's no chance. I'll take BTJ and Travis Hunter over that group all day. The Commanders, I mean, literally the only thing they really have that you'd love to add is Terry McLaurin, and he's awesome. But Noah Brown? You're going to list Noah Brown on this rankings list, and you're not going to talk about Deami Brown? That's crazy. Yeah, Zach Ertz is still a good player. Austin Eckler, but come on. I mean, you really telling me that the Commanders wouldn't trade Terry McLaurin in their group for Brian Thomas Jr. and Travis Hunter? I think you're crazy. And I think the Cowboys and the Chiefs would do the same exact thing. The Ravens, look, I like Zay. I like Zay Flowers a lot. I like Mark Andrews. I like Isaiah Likely. He doesn't even mention the fact that they added DeAndre Hopkins and they have obviously my guy Rashad Bateman. I think you can make the argument that the Ravens as a group might have a better overall receiving core, but I still would take Brian Thomas Jr. and Travis Hunter 10 times out of 10. The Falcons, I would take BTJ over Drake London. I love Drake London, but I would take BTJ. I would take Travis Hunter over Darnell Mooney. Yeah, you got Bijan Robinson, who's a better receiver out of the backfield, but okay. Kyle Pitts hasn't done anything lately due to injury and misusage. They're at 11. The Falcons are. The Texans are at 10. Yeah, I mean, Nico Collins is amazing. Christian Kirk was just cast off by the Jaguars. Yeah, I like adding Jaden Higgins and Jalen Noel. Would I take that over Travis Hunter? No. So I think the Jaguars would be fairly placed at 10. Trevor has them at 16, and he thinks that might be high. I guess if you're just saying, oh, Travis Hunter's a rookie, we don't know what he is. But, like, sometimes you just got to, like, put that aside and be realistic. Like, the Jaguars' top 2 receivers are going to go scorched earth in Liam Cohen's offense. They are. This is going to be a really good passing attack. Brian Thomas Jr. and Travis Hunter are going to be incredible. So I think 16 is way too low. I think we're going to look back at this list at some point during the season and be like, oh my God, they should have easily been at the very worst top 10. I think you could argue that they could be ahead of some of these other teams too. I really do. But yeah, I think it's fair to say you need to prove it to be ahead of some of the other teams in the top 10. But to me, I don't think any GM in football would probably take the Falcons receivers or the Ravens receivers. Maybe Ravens, maybe. But probably not. I mean, the top 2 is not close. You would much rather have BTJ and Travis Hunter than Zay Flowers and Rashad Bateman. Commanders, you'd obviously take BTJ and Travis. Chiefs, same thing. I love CeeDee Lamb for the Cowboys, right? But there's no way the combination of CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens is ahead of BTJ and Travis Hunter. Yeah, Travis Hunter's got to prove it. Guess what? He's going to. He absolutely is. So 16 going to be way too low for the Jaguars. Feel very confident in saying that. Let me know what y'all think in the comment section below. If you enjoy the content, please like and subscribe. Y'all have a good one.